Okay, we're moving right along. We've successfully installed the MetaTrader client terminal. And the client terminal is exactly what we're looking at now on this screen. It's capable of receiving quotes and news, performing trade operations, that's buying and selling, managing and controlling open positions and pending orders, as well as its use in conducting technical analysis studies. You can see the various types of indicators here, and there are a whole host of indicators available for us to choose from. Something that I want to touch on before we go any further is the amount down here, the equity amount. I want you to keep something in mind. This is a virtual equity amount. Okay, so this is opened up on a demo account, and I like to stress this so that everyone understands this isn't real money. This is what's known as a paper trading or a practice account. Now, in order to fund your account, you'll be doing it through a compatible Forex broker. And here's something else to note, that you cannot set up a live account through the terminal. You can't authorize a live account through the terminal. You can get it set up so you can trade through MetaTrader, but you can't activate one through the terminal. This has to happen through your Forex broker, just to clear that up. Okay, so let's move along. What we're going to do first is we're going to explore the menu up top. File, View, Insert, Charts, Tools window, and the Help, of course. And one of the first things we want to do is we want to go to New Chart. When you click on the New Chart button, you see you've got a variety of currency pairs to choose from. Let's just pick the pound dollar here and see what happens. There we have it. New chart pops up. So we've got a whole new configuration here in this screen. Now we're going to go down to Profiles, and we're going to save this profile. I'll show you how useful this is. This is really, really wonderful. Always helps to spell it correctly. Remember that. I'd already created such a profile. So, okay, so now I'm going to go to Profiles. I'm going to go to Default. Okay, that's the original, correct? All right, let's go to Profiles, and all your profiles that you have will be listed here. There's a new profile with the brand new added chart. So you can save groups of charts and indicators and studies into a profile and have them at your ready disposal for any type of trading that you wish to do, any type of studies that you wish to conduct. You may concentrate on the euro dollar, US dollar, or the pound dollar, or the dollar yen, whichever. And you may want to have the charts all set up for that specific currency pair, such as this one. Here, if we go to the British pound, each of these, let's do this vertically, is a pound dollar chart. And the difference here is that each of these has a different time frame. Okay. Now, while we're in the chart window here, there is something I'd like to show you very quickly. And that's that if you click on the Maximize button, each of the charts in this group, there were 3, gets maximized. And you can move to the tabs down here to move from one chart to the next, should you like to see the chart larger. You go back here, and we're back to the original format. We'll pop back here, go into our default profile, as you can see, And there we have it. Okay, so you can see profiles can be very, very powerful, a very powerful way to store all of our favorite settings and setups. So keep that in mind, that setting up a profile is very simple. Saving a profile is easy, as well as removing a profile. If you want to remove a profile, let's say we want to remove new profile 1. Click that. Are you sure? It always asks for confirmation here, and we say yes. Okay, and it's gone. So we go back here. New profile is no longer available. Okay, so let's move along. I'll move here to Save As. Okay. Now what Save As does is it takes the current chart, and let me roll back one moment here. The current chart, is you can see, will be that darker color up there. So this is the active chart. And so when you click here, we click Save As, you may be wondering, what the heck is Save As? Well, what it's going to do is it's going to save the data in this particular chart to a .csv format, which is comma separated value format, which is compatible with Microsoft Excel. So it automatically will name it, as you can see here, euro dollar US dollar 240. What the 240 is 60, which is how many minutes are in an hour, times 4 for 240. So this is the 4-hour chart that we're looking at. So let's go ahead and save that. Okay, it says it exists. Okay, we save that. And let's open that up. All right, here it is, all opened up. Okay, you can scroll all the way down here to see things. This is the most recent time. These are the times, as well as the open, high, low, close, and then that last is a volume figure. So this is basically raw data that you have an opportunity to work with in Excel if you choose to do so. Just wanted you to see what the Save As button is all about and what the file format means as far as the name's concerned. Okay, so we pop back up here. Now, let's pop into Save as Picture. Can save the active workspace. Let's pop in here. Let's save the active workspace as workspace. Let's spell right. Okay, and 1.gif. And okay, so we've saved that. Okay, so this is actually not the screen, but this is the actual image of the workspace that's been captured, and it's in my image management program here. So you can see that works very well. Let's go back and let's save something different here. Let's say that you can save an active chart as is, or an active chart in an 800 by 600, which is the standard default size here. Or if you've got another size you'd like to save it as, you can do that too. But let's go ahead and save that as 800 by 600. Okay, we don't want it as workspace. We want it as chart. Just give it a quick name. And there you have it. There's the chart all saved. There's a picture of the chart all saved right there for you. It's very nice. Works very, very nicely. Okay, so we're going to continue on. And here, logins, accounts, open an account. You've seen that particular screen. Your print setup, depending upon what you want to do. Your print preview, you can basically print the chart. So if we're looking at printing, say, the 4-hour chart here, that's what the print preview will look like in black and white, showing that it's from MetaTrader and it's in this particular format. Okay, just so you'll see that. Okay, let's close that. Go back. close out the print, and we're back. Okay, so that basically covers everything moving down here. Of course, exit will close out MetaTrader totally, but that covers everything under our file menu. And when we come back, we're going to cover the view, insert charts, and the other menu tabs up at the top. Thank you very much. See you in the next module. Hello and welcome to the next module. Previously we covered the file menu, and now we're going to cover in this module the view menu. Starting off with languages. This is a sub-menu, this section over here. Anything off the main menu is called a sub-menu. And we'll start off with languages here. You can select any of the desired languages, and you can switch the terminal interface to this language. Now for the language changes to take effect, you have to restart MetaTrader, just so you'll know. Next on the list, toolbars. Again, this is called a submenu for managing the toolbars. Active toolbars are checked. The selection of a toolbar allows you to enable or disable that particular toolbar. Let's go through a for instance here. Let's click this on standard, and you see the standard toolbar disappears. Go back down and see it's not checked there. So we'll check the standard toolbar and pop that back up. And the same holds true for the other toolbars as well, all along here. Line studies, charts. You'll see the charts toolbar disappears. Activate the charts toolbar. And let's roll back down here to customize. In customize, you have an opportunity to change some things here. And this is set up for your standard toolbar here. If you wanted print preview, you could either insert that or you could remove it. New order, you can see here, you remove the new order and you close that, then new order disappears. So go back to customize, to insert, get new order back in there, and you can see new order appears again. And you can do the same thing with any of the others. You want to go back through and you want to remove expert advisors, for instance. As you can see, when we go up here, expert advisors is gone, but we want to keep that in. Okay, so let's close that. All right, so let's continue on here. The status bar can enable or disable the status bar here, and that's located in the lower part of the terminal window. The data bar, let me show you this, and that bar is a little bit down at the bottom here, a little bit off the screen. You can see the current profile, click to open a list. So you can go back through profiles just like in the, and we can see it's default, and default is listed down here at the bottom as well. Okay, let's move on to charts bar. Okay, and you can see it takes this part away down here, which are just the tabs for scrolling through the various types of charts. There we go. Okay, we'll pop back up here. And now here we can go through each of these, the full screen mode. Now if you're in full screen mode, it will keep these charts all the same size, but you can still maximize these and have lots and lots of chart room. So this is great. You want to just do one particular chart, then wow, look at that. That's great. We've got a lot of room here to work. And we can still also scroll through the various charts by clicking on the tabs at the bottom. Let's take that back to resize. And what I'll do here is I'll hit F11. We'll go back to the standard configuration and we'll tile everything, and we're back set in the default configuration here with the default profile. Okay, now you can do things, Market Watch, which is window to the left, completely disappeared. You can also use Control M for Market Watch. The data window, let's toggle that back in. The data window here, when you click on any of the charts, the data from the chart pops up, as well as the data from the indicators on that particular chart. So that's a real handy feature right there. Okay. Pop back over here, go to Navigator. That takes the Navigator menu down here out. T for terminal. You can see it takes that information away down here, terminal information. So for the strategy tester, if you're creating your own trading systems, which does take more than just a small level of skill in order to do it correctly, but you can do that and test things and optimize them down at the bottom. Remove that, and we're back here again. That basically wraps it up for the view menu. Next, we'll cover the insert menu. Hello and welcome to the insert menu module. Before we get started with the insert menu itself, select a chart and maximize it, as I'm doing here, so that we can have a larger chart to work with. Now let's pop on over to the insert menu, and this is where many of the goodies of MetaTrader are. The indicators, including the moving average, and just to give you an example, we'll click on moving average here. Dialog box pops up. We get an opportunity to change the color. If we wanted it to be blue, we can change whether we wanted solid or dashed line. The thickness of that line, we can apply that to the open, high, lower, close, or a number of other factors. We can determine whether it's simple, exponential, smoothed, or linear weighted. We can also set up a shift to the left or to the right, and also the period of the moving average. Here we've got a 14-period moving average. Okay. Let's set the visualization to all time frames. Levels we're going to ignore for now. Go back. And there we have it. Nice moving average. And as you hover your mouse over it, it'll tell you the period. And you can also see the value of the moving average at any particular time, which is also very useful. Now, to change the moving average, simply hover over it thusly. Now you can either delete the indicator, or you can go back to properties, and say you wanted to change it to a 100-period moving average. You can go back and you can do that. A lot flatter, isn't it? That's just the way it is. All I'm doing to move the chart, the data on the chart, is I am clicking the left mouse button, holding it down, moving it to the right or to the left, just so you'll know. Now we can pop down here and completely delete that particular indicator. Lots and lots more here. Oscillators, Bill Williams alligator, average directional movement index, average true range, which is very important and handy. And then these are categorized as to the type of indicators that there are. Trending indicators, oscillators, and here's a very popular one, the stochastics, And all I'll do here is just show you that the oscillator indicators show up down here in their own indicator section. Okay, and you can click on the left mouse button and hold it down and drag that section and size it the way you'd like. So if you want to see more that way, you can do that. Okay, so with here, stochastics, completely, you can eliminate that. And we can go back here to lines. As you can see, indicators, we've taken a look at all these. You can do custom ones as well. Volume, oscillators, Bill Williams, the alligator, fractals. Come here and do lines. You can do a vertical line, for instance. Vertical line with the value right there of the date. Pop down and do a horizontal line. If you want to do a horizontal line, say right there. Now, I'll show you something about the lines. You hover over it, it shows the value. If you want it to reflect a different value, like say we want it to reflect a little higher value of here, we can do that. Hover over it. Go to the objects list. See where it says objects list? And it shows, that's not what I want to use right now, but it shows the value right here, what's what. Vertical line, horizontal line. So let's pop through here and change the parameters. And let's say we want to change the parameters to 1.48295. We can do that very easily. 95. And there it hops up there. Now, if you want to change the color, no problem. Color change is easy. You want it to be thicker. Be green. It can do that. Let's not make it green. Everything on there is green. Aqua. Nice aqua color. Same thing with the vertical line. You want to move it somewhere, you can. To a different date. If you want to move it to, let's see, which is this? Okay, that's October the 2nd. You want to move it to the 3rd. Let's do that. And we're over on the 3rd, just like that. Want to remove the objects? No problem. Go to the objects list, hit that, delete, delete, gone. Just like that. All right, back to the menu. Trend lines. This is a little bit different. Rather than a one-click, a trend line is a two-click situation. We click, and we draw the line the way we want, and then we release. We're going to do it this way. And on these, like that. Okay. Okay, you want to have the change the trend line parameters. See the values there. You can change that as well. And you can also delete that. Pop that way, delete, and we're out. Okay. And I'm just showing you these first few so you can get a feel for working with the menu, that type of thing. But some of these do deserve an extra explanation. Now the trend line by angle, this is really neat. Click, hold down the left mouse button. Now you see down where my cursor was, see it says 90 degrees. Now see, I want to draw something at the 45-degree angle. How about this? How about I go to properties? I go to object list, sorry. I want to edit that. Parameters, angle in degrees, 45. There we go. And it's interesting how the 45 lines up with that, isn't it? That's a topic for another day. All right. But that's trend line by angle for us. We can delete that. Go to the objects list, and there are a number of ways to do that. I thought I deleted it. Select, delete. There we go. All right, so let's pop back up. Channels. Linear regression, standard deviation channels, Fibonacci channels. You've got GAN lines, GAN fan, GAN grid. You've got a little bit of everything. Here, if we start talking about the linear regression channel, it's a statistical analysis tool, and it's just used for forecasting of future values on the basis of available data. If the trend is ascending, then one can logically suppose that the next bar will be a bit higher than the preceding one. The linear regression method allows you to have a statistical demonstration of such logical conclusions. Now, for this tool, 2 points must be drawn. Okay. And take a look at that. It's interesting, isn't it? Capture everything within that channel. Another interesting tool. All right, regression channel. Okay, so again, just wanted to show you some samples of some things. Rectangles. This allows you to draw some objects on the chart if you wanted to do that for some particular reason. If you wanted to draw a rectangle and then you wanted to add text, for instance, you can go through here. You can add text. Rectangle is blue. Did I spell rectangle right? You'll have to help me out on this. Okay, here we go. There we go. This rectangle is blue. Okay, now as far as the text is concerned, go to text properties. You can change it any way you'd like to. If you want the font to be larger, you can go to a larger font. You want the color to be different, you can go to a different color. You want any of the other parameters. You want the angle to be 45 degrees. You could change that. Value to be there. There we go. It doesn't mean anything in this particular point, but this could be very handy if, for instance, you are drawing a trend line, for instance. And the trend line is going in that particular direction as well. So you can label that trend line. That in itself is pretty handy. So let's delete that. Delete this. Go to the objects list here. This is always all right. All the objects are gone there. We'll continue on. Arrows. Now arrows are very handy if you're wanting to identify a few things. For instance, let's say this was the start of the up move. We'll go to the arrow thickness. No change there. That makes sense. And if we want an up move to be green, we can change that. And there we go. Big green arrow right there. No problem. If we wanted to do another arrow for something along the lines of the a down arrow, we can do that. Okay, it kept that color, but we're going to go straight here to red for down. I'm going to thicken that up just a bit to make that one a little bit larger. And so, as you can see, handy. These can be moved around as well, so if you want to move them from place to place as you experiment and learn things, that's fine too. Okay, so I'll just leave those there. We'll continue down. Now, Andrew's pitchfork and some of these other things, cycle lines, can be very handy as well. So we'll pop in Andrew's pitchfork. Now, this tool is drawn on 3 points and represents parallel trend lines. The first trend line, we'll start here. Second, we'll go here. Third, we'll go here. Okay. There we are. There's the Andrew's pitchfork there. You see it containing prices here and having a median trend line that the prices oscillate around. That can be very, very handy. Let's pop down here to cycle lines. Cycle lines are interesting. Let's see. Let me do that again so we'll do that correctly. You see how you can change that cycle from larger to smaller. This could be very handy if you're looking to find some sort of cycle or pattern inside of the data, such as maybe looking for, it moves through every 8 hours there's a peak, or every 8 hours there's a valley. No matter how short term these cycles might be, they can end up being very, very handy. So let's remove this. Remove all these from our objects list and clean up our chart a little bit. Okay, there we go. Down here, text label. Okay, we'll just put this as peak. Okay, now the interesting thing about this is anchored, so it's a little bit different. You can see where it shifts here. Label properties, bottom left corner. But it's still, you can just move it around to wherever you'd like for it to be. And you can also change the properties of that particular label. Right here in parameters, you can angle it as well. X distance, Y distance, and you can change the name, the color, the size of the font. If you run it really big, no problem at all. So that wraps up the coverage of the insert menu. And next we're going to go on to the very exciting chart menu. Thank you very much.